Scientists have discovered some sharks older than the United States. According to a paper published in Science magazine this week, researchers believe the lifespan of the Greenland shark species could be up to 300 years. And one shark discovered is thought to be almost 400 years old. This means the Greenland shark lives longer than any known animal with a backbone. Wildlife biologist Jeff Corwin joins us from the Dominican Republic with more. Jeff, there is a lot to talk about here, all of it fascinating. I think the first question we have to go to is, how do we know the age of a shark? Did we come upon a shark birthday party down there?
Pretty much. Unfortunately, the candles blow out very easy underwater. The truth is, we can look at a number of materials to examine how old the creature is. They actually looked into the retina of these sharks and were able to look at almost like an organic living carbon footprint in the back of their eye and do an organic version of carbon dating, like we would do with some ancient artifact. And they were able to extrapolate that with some other materials. We can look at heavy metals in the animal's body. For example, there have been whales that have been harvested by native Alaskans, and they've actually found old mortar pieces from 19th century whaling ships.
Wow. And we're looking at pictures of the sharks right now as they swim by slowly in the ice-cold waters of Greenland. What can these sharks teach us about the way humans age and aging in general? And how can we slow the aging process? Any tips there?
I think they teach us that sharks do it so much better than we do. They are remarkable creatures. First of all, they've been living on our planet, time-tested as exquisite species for more than 400 million years ago. So they are just perfectly designed for survival. They're also incredibly disease-resistant. Sharks rarely, if ever, get diseases like cancer. So they may have a simpler, more conservative design, but that simple model for survival works perfectly. And in this sort of cold, desolate Arctic region, we are now discovering that some of the most ancient, long-lived species call this area home.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the paper, there are other species referenced that are also very old. There is a whale and a clam. And then we have the Greenland shark. All three of these species live in the ocean. Do we all need to get in the water a bit more if we want to live forever?
Yeah, it's time to do that ice plunging brownie club, I think, that they do on Wollaston Beach every year. Maybe that gives you old age. The truth is, these creatures have a lot going on in their genetics. We know that senescence, and all of us, whether you're a shark, a human being, or a clam, we possess the genes of death, which are senescence. It's the gray hair that kicks in, it's the weak stigmatism, it's the natural process of aging that all life forms go through. What is it about these animals that allow them to live for such longer periods of time? You could argue the diet, the environment, but surely it lies in their genetics. The other thing, it has to do with human ignorance. We always assumed that they had a finite measure of life experience on Earth. We thought we knew the answers, but I've been working with shark scientists for years, and many of them have extrapolated that they're very long-lived animals. A great white shark does not begin reproducing until it's in its 20s. These Greenland sharks, which belong to this ancient group similar to what we call the seven-gill sharks, they don't reproduce between 100 and maybe 200 years old. So we're just saying they live to 400 years old. They could live far longer than that.
So I think I have what you're saying clear here, but I want to be totally sure. It sounds like you're saying these sharks have the right genetics to live a long time and they live in the right location, and us humans are not going to be able to duplicate this in any way. There are no lessons for the human species in terms of living longer that we can take away from these sharks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the age now of gene splicing, who's to say we can't find the genetic code that allows an animal to have a much longer lifespan and integrate that into us? We can take spider silk, remove the genes for that, integrate it into goat genes, and actually create goat milk with tensile steel strength in it used for manufacturing.
Wait a minute.
Who knows how we can apply that to our own?
We might genetically modify ourselves using shark DNA in order to live 500 years? We could be on the...
Yeah. Or ultimately what kills us is disease. And they're often the most simple and ancient of diseases like cancer or pneumonia. We know there are environmental factors that contribute to that, right? But there are also the factors of being aged and infirm, to being weak and vulnerable to disease. What can we find that can increase our integrity both genetically and physically beyond our environment and diet for survival? Chances are we can learn that from sharks. Maybe it's not just the genes for long-lived species like these Greenland sharks. Perhaps it's the genes that prevent cancer. Why do they not get cancer? Why do they not get many of the deadly diseases that wipe out other species?
Wow. All right. Jeff Corwin, I hope we are at the dawn of a new age of a shark-human interspecies. That certainly would give me a lot of pleasure. Thanks a lot for joining us and for walking us through all this.
Yeah, I'd love to live to 400 years old.
Me too, I think. I might need to get back to you on that. All right, Jeff, take care.
Thank you.